All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today, hosted by myself with MIOYM and Joel Landon. Well, he's on that side. Well, the other side. There you go. Of Heritage IRA. Hidden Capital: How to Unlock Retirement Wealth for Real Estate. Basically, what we're going to go over is just some of what we do at MIOYM, and then Joel's going to take it over, and he's the educational portion of it and the most important part of it, stating how to invest into alternative assets and anything pretty much other than what the stock market, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, your traditional investments that you would do within your IRA, and how it's tax deferred and how you could benefit from it. Just to give you a little background, myself, Robert Costomiris, I come from a background of Wall Street for 20 years. I went from stockbroker to financial advisor to owning a broker-dealer and securities firm for about 9 years. And with the past 4 years, I've been with MIOYM Equities. And what MIOYM Equities is a private equity firm where we go out and buy distressed single-family residential properties at a 60% discount. We actually have a technology that uncovers these properties for us. And we'll go in there, we'll rehab them, and we'll sell them off for what we perceive to be the market value. We do it through a combination of debt and equity. The debt we get from lending institutions. They give us 85 to 90% of the acquisition costs, and then the 100% of the rehabilitation costs. So we're maximizing our finances there. We utilize accredited investors or high net worth individuals to take care of the remaining of what I call the capital stack. And that covers the acquisition price that the lending institutions don't cover, closing costs, legal fees, and any carrying costs that may incur. And each property was anticipated to be a 12-month hold. And we offer a 17.5% return for people who invest with us. And it's an annualized return. So if it takes a little bit less than the 12 months, you're getting a little bit less than 17.5%. And on the flip side, if it takes a little bit longer, which a good amount of our properties do, you get a little more than the 17.5% return because it is an annualized rate. And the way that we do it, because I do have a background on Wall Street, early on when I started here at MIOYM, I found a way to invest within real estate through your IRA account, through self-directed IRA companies. Now we have full of fair disclosure. We have relationships with a couple of different companies, but something that intrigued me about Joel and Heritage IRA is that not only do they custody your accounts and they'll hold all your assets and help you with all the reporting and things of that nature, but they are designed off of relationship building. So what does that mean? It means that they're not just there just to custody your accounts and they send you a bill every so often. They're there to hold your hand and kind of talk you through it. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Joel in just a second because there are a lot of different things and it can get a little scary out there with self-directing your investments yourselves. But as Joel's going to mention, it is no different than picking the investments yourselves, whether you're buying a stock, whether you're putting into a mutual fund or anything like that. It is the same exact thing. And whether you're going with us at MIOYM, which I will handhold you the entire way, Joel and Heritage will do the exact same thing that we do here at MIOYM. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Joel and let him speak, and because he's got a lot more important stuff than I do.
Appreciate that, Rob. Yeah, super excited to share this with you. A lot of you listening today might actually be fully aware of what we offer as a self-directed retirement account provider. Some of you might be a little unfamiliar with the process or what it looks like, and you're interested in getting started. Well, we hope that after the conversation today and what you're going to hear, that you're going to be ready to go, that you're going to be ready to hop on a call with me, get started with a self-directed account that we can get done for you really quickly, real efficiently, and get you invested with Rob or maybe even exploring some other alternatives. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen here, go through some slides to help navigate the conversation, and we'll get ourselves started here. So a couple of things that we're going to discuss. First, what's a self-directed retirement account? Refresher for some people. We're going to talk a little bit about your options, what kind of account you can choose from. There are quite a variety. We'll talk a little bit about why you would want one, what are some of the benefits and risks, and then of course, how does it work? We'll put it into practice here, and then ultimately how to get started. So I want to make sure that everybody has a fundamental understanding of what is a self-directed retirement account. It's very similar to what you're probably experiencing today with your retirement account. Just like the 401k that you might contribute to with your company, it functions the exact same way, other than the retirement accounts that we create for you let you hold assets like real estate, exactly what Rob offers. Your traditional 401k held at Fidelity is not going to allow you to do that, despite the fact that you might want to. So individuals turn to us at Heritage IRA to provide them with that resource. So we plug in really nicely with companies like MIOYM and Rob so that we can get your retirement account or your retirement funds invested in a position in real estate. There are a variety of accounts to choose from. In the grand scheme of things, we want to make sure that you're aware that you'll fit into one of these accounts based on your circumstances. If you're an individual, you're W-2, and you have retirement funds that you want to place in real estate, like with MIOYM, we can set up an individual retirement account or a traditional IRA, Roth IRA, and that's going to allow you to hold that position as an equity limited partner in the syndication of your choice. We facilitate that whole process. We create the IRA. We work with the releasing custodian. Let's assume you have $100,000 at a Fidelity IRA or Fidelity 401k. We actually work to move those funds with that releasing party or administrator, and we move it into your newly formed IRA that we created for you. Then from there, we've already teed things up with, let's say, Rob and you as the investor. We're going to make sure that once the funds do hit your new IRA that we've created, that it's ready to deploy and ready to invest with Rob. So ideally, within about 7 to 10 days, if everything goes well, almost always does, 9 times out of 10, it's a smooth process, you're invested. And there's very little lifting on your part. The heavy lifting is left to us, left to Rob on the investment sponsor side as well. There are some retirement accounts that are designed for small business individuals. So if you've got a small business, if you're self-employed, we actually have self-directed retirement accounts designed for you. So it could be the solo 401k, it could be the SEP IRA. We dig into those details with you during our consultation call. So we love to identify where are you at with your small business? How many employees do you have? Are there no employees? Is your spouse an employee? And if so, we'll design the retirement account that'll fit your needs. And then, of course, these retirement accounts complement your tax strategy. So in addition to being able to invest existing retirement funds in alternative assets, you're also going to be able to make contributions. Could really help you defer some income tax if it's something that you're really looking for. It could be a great business tax deduction if you decide to start making profit sharing contributions. There is a Rob's plan that's designed for individuals who are ready to start their small business and they're looking for funding. You can actually use your existing retirement funds to invest in your own startup. Sometimes that blows people's minds, but it's been actually an option for a long time. And we've designed our plan documents and our record keeping tools for you so that you can actually do this effectively. So why should you have a self-directed retirement account? First, you might be somebody who wants to take control over the decision of your retirement. Maybe you don't want to be locked into the stock market anymore. Maybe you do want to branch out and you want to hold alternatives like precious metals, digital assets, real estate with Rob. Maybe you're looking for tax savings. Maybe you're a small business individual, you and your spouse, and you're looking to make some impressive contributions up to the maximums to help lower your adjusted gross income, to help lower your tax burden. Maybe you're looking for diversification. Maybe you want precious metals to hedge against inflation, or maybe you want actual real estate and not just REITs as a part of your retirement strategy. A couple of things you got to be aware of. You got to do your homework and you got to take full responsibility of the transactions you're going to engage in. Fortunately, Heritage IRA is here to support you along the way. You don't have to navigate this alone. So as long as you understand what you're investing in, you've done your due diligence, you've connected with firms like Rob's, and you've understood what you're going to invest in, you're ready to go. As long as you don't invest in assets that are prohibited, you're going to be successful with your self-directed retirement account. I'll dive into the prohibited transactions here just so you have a good idea. As long as you're not investing in assets that you control as like the general partner, you're going to be totally fine. These are actually designed to be investment vehicles for the passive investor. So let us create the retirement account. Let us roll over your funds and let's position it so that you can invest with Rob, who's the professional, the general partner. And you can go back to your everyday life. You can go back to your W-2, your family, and allow this investment to grow passively. So those are some of the things that you've just got to be aware of as an investor using a self-directed account. And believe me, we interact with our clients all the time and we help them break down and understand exactly what their do's and don'ts are so that they don't make any mistakes. So how does it work? I have this diagram here to kind of illustrate what it looks like, and it's actually really simple. We kick off your self-directed IRA, you identify your private placement, we actually move your retirement funds to that private placement, and then from there, profits are shifted back to your self-directed retirement account. You want to make sure that these funds and these investments and the returns and your gains are cycling back and forth between your retirement account and the investment sponsor. None of this will be designed and forwarded to your personal bank account. We want to make it totally clear that this all stays within that little retirement ecosystem until you decide to actually distribute at 59 and a half when you reach the RMD requirement age. So just keep that in mind so that you're never curious or questioning, where do my funds go once this investment closes? It'll always go back to your retirement account, ready to invest in another asset of your choice.
Joel, I just wanted to touch on something with you. What was
Please.
being said was, um, a lot of times what you get questioned on is, how does it work? Where does it go? And whenever, somebody invests with us and we set them up with Heritage, it'll always come direct. Your monies will always come directly from the company, like Heritage itself, directly to us. Let's say it runs full cycle. Your principal goes back plus the return that you're owed, and it goes directly back to the self-directed IRA company. There is no touching of the funds yourself. It is exactly like when you have a brokerage account or another IRA account somewhere else. When you sell a stock, it goes right back into the account. The only difference is that Heritage is a different company and we're a different company, but we communicate quite often, and then it just goes right back and forth to each other, and there's no taxable event. The only taxes occur are when you start taking distributions, just as you said, Joel, at either 59 and a half, which is the lowest, or 70 and a half when you have to start taking required minimum distributions. And the thought process behind that, well, the IRS's thought process is that you're at a lower tax bracket and you're not getting, hit with the 36 or 40% taxes that you would if you were a high income earner. Hopefully you're making a little bit less money at that point, and then you can start taking the distributions on your account and you're taxed at a little bit lower of a tax bracket.
Well said, Rob. Appreciate that so much. And before we start wrapping this up, I just want to emphasize we do have Roth self-directed accounts, and those are like the bread and butter when it comes to investing retirement funds in alternative assets. You want your funds to grow tax-free so that you can distribute tax-free. And if you're in that position, or if you're curious about that, your CPA or your tax advisor could really help complement your investment strategy with a self-directed retirement account. So with
Yeah,
that being, with that,
that's another thing I wanted to touch on. And you
yeah,
had mentioned about the self-directed IRA and you have to make your own choices. And I know I had brought it up in the beginning, but it can be, scary knowing you're doing it on your own. But I always recommend, and I know Joel says it, and Joel has some resources, and I have resources as well. Always speak to your accountant about the type of account that you should set up, because there is a huge difference between setting up a Roth IRA. And although there's a lot of chatter on social media and out there in the news networks about how great they are because they grow, you know, tax free and things like that. But if you do need tax deductions, maybe a simple 401, I'm sorry, a self 401k, a solo 401k would be best for you. Maybe a simple because you need more deductions. Or if not, maybe rolling over to a Roth is good for you. But speak to your accountant and also speak to your financial professional about the investments that you're making within there. And we could always coordinate a conversation between them. And because I do have a background of 20 years on Wall Street, I have, some knowledge of, how to diversify portfolios, and I can give that to you. But I always want people to have a third party to speak to about it. So I always say it, and I know Joe mentions it as well, to speak to your professionals.
perfect. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better. I want to do a quick recap for everybody that's tuning in. And of course, we want to have a one-on-one conversation with you about these details. We're really scratching the surface. Just to kind of go in summary of what we've discussed, again, you can take your existing retirement fund. So if you've been with an employer in the past and you might have severed your employment. It's likely that your retirement funds are sitting in an IRA held with one of the big brokerages. It could be with Empower, it could be a TSP plan. There's a variety of accounts where your retirement funds just could be sitting there idle, or at least invested in index funds, bonds, and so forth. You could take those funds and you can move them into private placements like real estate. So we've got the vehicle to make that happen. All earnings could be tax free. We interact with clients all the time that might have a pool of funds that are already taxed. And if you invest those, they're going to grow tax free. Or maybe it is a part of your strategy to convert. You can use those old employer plans, such as a 401k or an IRA, kind of alluded to that already. And then you might have more money to invest in real estate than you thought. The best thing that you can do in that case, if you're questioning, how much do I have or what does that actually look like? Let's get in touch. Let's just have a conversation. We love to review those types of details with individuals
Yeah,
because you might be.
one thing I wanted to touch on too, Joel, is the low-hanging fruit for the IRA market is, like you just said, is through an old employer where there's a 401k just sitting there, something along the lines of, maybe you have an IRA account somewhere that you don't realize you had. You could always roll it over to either an IRA company or Heritage IRA. And then if you're, in business for yourself, always set up a 401k, a qualified plan, IRA, Roth IRA, solo 401k, simple things of that nature to get the tax benefits from it. But generally, the low-hanging fruit on these IRA accounts is old 401ks that are sitting out there that nobody knows that they have. And by the way, if they are sitting with your former employer, they're getting hit with massive management fees that you don't realize that you're paying. And you may not even know what you're paying just because they're there and it is eating away at it. So putting it in just in regular IRA account is so much better, even if you don't do anything with it. But with a self-directed IRA, you could buy, alternative assets from real estate to Bitcoin to, gold, to tangible assets. I mean, the crypto is not so much a tangible asset, but things you could actually put your hands on and you actually own yourself, more so real estate and gold and silver and things of that nature.
Such a good highlight. Appreciate that, Robin. Just want to make mention that, Heritage IRA offers a variety of resources in addition to just us custodying your assets for you. We want to be there for you. We want to provide you with educational content and support so that you can be as successful as possible with your IRA. Here's my contact information. Go ahead and pause the screen if you have a chance here. Be sure to pull up my booking link and let's have a conversation. I know it'll be worth your while. A lot of people do ask, what's the cost? What is it going to look like for me to start a self-directed IRA? And I'll tell you this right now, it's very inexpensive. We try to keep things as simple as possible at Heritage IRA. And so it makes it so much easier for us to provide you with the self-directed service that you need at a really, really low cost. So get connected with me. Let's have a conversation. And just like Rob mentioned a moment ago, this really is a powerful tool for your retirement. It can also be an extremely powerful tax tool. So let both of those components of a self-directed retirement account add value to your financial freedom. But with that being said, super grateful that you took a minute to tune in. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Shoot me an email if you've got any questions as a follow-up, and we can go from there.
And I appreciate everybody taking time out of their busy schedule in the middle of the day to come out and listen to us. Although Joe had more important stuff than I did, so we'll leave it at that. But I hope that you at least get to know MIOYM, and now you know Heritage. They are. Oh, one thing I do want to touch on is that I know Joel had mentioned it, but when you get involved with me, I try to make it as seamless as possible for you, so that you don't have to speak to Heritage and you don't have to go between two different people. I try to do all the paperwork for you, get you all the links and everything necessary, and then Joel would handle it from there to get your account set up and everything like that. But between the two of us, I am a big relationship guy. I come from the finance world, and that's all we really have is building a relationship. Because let's face it, when you're in real estate, there's always something that's going to go wrong. And having that relationship and somebody you can call and speak to and have something going for you is something that's beneficial. And by the way, when I say things go wrong, nothing you as an investor is going to see, but it's just whether it's at the purchase, it's at the closing, whether it's the construction, it's the trying to sell it, the closing on the sale. There's always something that goes wrong, but you as the investor never see it or never feel any of that. So just want to let you know that it is relationship built, and that is all that we strive to do.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, and we look forward to hearing from you. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.
Thank you, guys.